Hi everyone, I'm Camila Mucci, part of the Avenue Co team, and welcome to the Diamond Podcast, where we explore the intersection of technology, leadership, and human growth. And today I'm super happy to have here with me Bav, a CPA and a transformational leader with more than 30 years of experience driving impact through technology and people. So welcome to the Diamond Podcast, Bav. It's such a pleasure to have you here with me.
Thank you, Camilla. It's my pleasure to be with you today.
All right, very good. So let's start. Bav, you have spent your career leading transformation, often connected with technology at the center of it. And when you think about change through technology, what is the secret to making that work? Not just for the business, but for the people behind it.
Change, whether it's a business transformation, whether it's technology transformation, requires thoughtful and present leadership to be successful. And to make it work, leaders need to provide that clear strategy and direction and clear goals and outcomes that are meant to achieve business needs and solve the problem that you're trying to resolve. And it's not just about the technology. And so leaders need to provide a very clear path on how you're going to get there, and communicate throughout the journey. And as leaders, they need to be able to communicate expectations and challenges and manage scope, with leadership at the top, but then also, with the teams that they are supporting. And, it requires communication. It requires, tough decisions to be made to stay on path. And it requires that regular and honest communication with your people, which brings me to people. So none of this can happen without people. And it requires putting the right people in the right roles, making sure that your people have the right skills, that they have the training that they need, that they have the support that they need, because it's the people that are going to make the transformation happen. So give them what they need to be successful.
Very, very good. So when you talk about the importance of people, right, and putting them in the right place, in the right roles, helping them grow and preventing, in many cases, even burnout, for instance. From your experience, what are the small leadership habits that really make a difference in keeping teams motivated and connected, especially when they're going through big changes?
Another great question, Camila, and I feel like you've answered it with the word connecting. And
Yeah.
So leadership is about connecting, right? So it's about connecting people with, the vision and the strategy. We talked about that, the goals and the change and the why behind it. And so as leaders, you need to provide that compelling story of, why are we doing this? And so it goes beyond just, emails and memos and town halls. As leaders, you really need to understand what your people need to succeed. And so thinking about, not just training and development, but also just going beyond that to say, okay, let's provide those stretch assignments so that people can grow and push themselves and exceed their own expectations. Another piece of that is just team building. And making sure that your teams are performing optimally. And so are they collaborating? Are they sharing ideas? Are they problem solving? Are they building trust with one another? And so those are all, elements that are required to help, navigate through change. And you mentioned burnout, and that's such an important one because as we know, technology projects are often so intense. And so it's so important to carve out that time with your teams, shut down the computers, take off for a bit, whether it's hosting a team building event or just going out for a walk. It's really important to incorporate downtime as part of it, as part of your plan. And as leaders, you need to make sure that you're visible, right? And approachable and present. And so what that looks like is, walk the floor, get to know your people, understand them at a personal level, show them that you care. And so, taking the time to check in with them regularly. And when you do, make sure that you're listening, and that you're understanding what it is that they're trying to tell you, and then take action if action's required. That will build so much trust with your teams. And when you think about it, your people are your strongest asset. You need to take care of them.
I love that. Love, love, love that. Wow. Bav, you have had such a rich and evolving career. And if you could go back in time and give your younger self a piece of advice, what would it be? And is still like talking about your career, what kind of lessons do you hope that this next generation of women in tech and leadership could take from your journey, for instance?
Another great question, Camilla, and this one I can talk for a while on. So first I would talk about being intentional in your career. And so having a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year beyond map plan around where you want to be, what you want to do, and understand that it will change over time, but be intentional about where you want to go. And I would say, take those opportunities that come your way, seize them, but don't also wait for them to happen. Make them happen. And so, it's your career, so you want to be in the driver's seat, driving it. And when you're unsure, seek advice. There's so many strong women leaders around you that can provide advice around your career. And I would say, don't be afraid to take risks. So stretch yourself, be bold, be courageous. And I would say also embrace continuous learning, especially in the tech space where the technology is just changing so rapidly that, you need to stay on top of things. And continuous learning needs to be part of your journey. The other I would say is, find an area of specialty that you're really passionate about, and become an expert in that area, become that go-to person. And lastly, I would say, building your brand, think about who you are would immediately come to mind when people think of you. So that's being intentional in your career. The other area that I think is really important, and I wish I had in my younger career, is a really solid network of mentors and peers. And finding a good mentor, many mentors, is a lot of work, but it is so rewarding. And I love the mentor relationship because it's mutually beneficial. It's both the mentor and the mentee both, gain from this relationship. And that's why I love it, because you're each bringing different perspectives and different backgrounds and different education, and perhaps you come from different cultural backgrounds. You're in different generations. And so the other is, with networks, you want to build a network around you of peers and confidants, of friends that you can rely on whenever you need advice, or you want someone to just listen to you or just be there for you. And sometimes it happens organically, but often you need to be the one that, drives it and brings people together. And I find that it's just so rewarding having that network, whether you use ERGs or you join network groups like through your associations. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Just do it. It gets easier each time. And I know for me personally, networking is hard. I'm not a naturally, what's the word?
Extrovert, maybe?
Extrovert, yes,
Okay.
exactly. And so for me, I have to work at getting out there. A good network, to me, is like a warm hug.
That's very good. And I love what
Yeah.
you said about bringing people together. That it's really, really important. Wow,
Yeah,
very
for
good.
sure.
All
And one
right.
last thing I'm going to say, Camilla, is I have a lot to say in this space.
All right. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Take your time.
yeah, is about being confident. And
Okay.
and so for many, it's easier said than done. Not all of us had an upbringing where our parents were staunch cheerleaders and praising us for every accomplishment, whether small or big. My parents, were just busy getting on with life in a new country. So I was on my own, and I had to learn to acknowledge my own accomplishments and give myself a pat on the back. Figure out what it is that gives you confidence. You know yourself, and so do what makes sense for you. And so hopefully that those kind of three messages: being intentional in your career, building out your network of mentors and peers, and then being confident, I feel like are good messages for any female who wants to be a leader, who is a leader. And I know that when I think about my own journey, if I can do it, so can you. Bold, you're smart, you're talented, you're capable. And so get out there and show the world.
Love that. Love that. All right. So last but not least, our final question is, Bav, you have led many meaningful initiatives in your career, from using technology to drive efficiency to empowering women and supporting Indigenous businesses. And when you look back, what kind of impact or legacy do you hope your work leaves behind?
Well, my hope is that, in some small way, through the many people that I've had the privilege of working with over the years, that I've been able to motivate and inspire them to be their best selves, to dream big, and to reach beyond the stars and find joy in who they are. And for organizations I've worked in, I've hoped that I've done my part in planting the seeds for the next generation of leaders. And I feel like that's such an important aspect of leadership is building that pool of talent that's going to replace you. And on a final note, I would say, as a female leader and a visible minority, it's been a bumpy road. It hasn't always been easy. And I hope that by paving the way for others, that I've made the path easier and smoother for the next generation to come.
All right. Of course you have. I'm pretty sure you have. All right. So, Bav, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey and insights. And for everyone who is listening, thank you so much for joining. And that was our Diamond podcast. So, thank you.